Yay! Welcome back to Claim Your Creative Voice. I'm Lindsey Kirkendall, and this is my good friend,
Leslie Garbis.
We are so excited to have you here today. We are talking about intention as it relates to performance, singing, all of the stuff that Leslie is really a specialist at. So why don't you briefly tell, for those of us that are watching for the first time, a little bit about what you do.
So I predominantly work with singers. I teach at a university, but I also have my own private studio here in Nashville, Tennessee. But I also, I consider myself a voice liberator because I also work with women who just feel like their voice is so small and they're nervous to speak in front of anyone, or they feel like their voice is they've never really found the power or the embodiment, of their voice. So I really, lately I'm like, man, I'm actually a voice liberator.
Yeah.
Because
for a while it was vocal technician.
Yeah, intuitive.
And then it was,
I use my intuition a lot, and I'm a very holistic voice teacher. You don't come in and I just address like this. Which is a lot of times what people think they have to address as a singer. When they're working on the voice, they just it's right here. No, and it's definitely here. Absolutely, there's mental work, but it's a whole body experience. And so because it's the only instrument that lives inside the human body, it is phenomenally difficult to address the voice just as its own little thing without addressing the person.
Right.
So I address everything.
I love that you said that, because I always say that about artists. I'm like, you cannot separate yourself from your art. Even if you're a songwriter that writes on spec for sync, there is still a piece of you that appears in every work of art, every creation. You cannot separate it. So I love that you said that.
Yes, it's
true
just
for the voice too.
So much so, and there's so much power and vulnerability there. And anyway, I address all things. It could be we end up talking about your sleep, or we talk about limiting beliefs, or we end up talking about old emotional wounds, or who knows. But I help set the voice free. I help you help yourself do that. So, and it's my joy to do so. So today we're riffing off of our last episode, which was about intention setting and what is intention and how can you change your day on the micro and then change your life on the macro simply by having some simple intention.
Yeah, and so we were talking and I was asking,
how does this apply?
Right. And so I'm curious if you find anything with your clients that feels
pervasive.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And so Lindsey and I had just, it was actually her idea to just address briefly how we use intention, how we weave it into the work we do with our clients.
Yeah.
So, mostly I see singers, as I had mentioned, and most of them are already artists, burgeoning artists, maybe already touring, maybe already gigging, a lot of singer-songwriters, things like that. And it's funny because you really can't be intentional when you're just all up in your head. So firstly, I have to give a nod back to 2 episodes ago, which was grounding. So I end up leading my students into just learning how to let's ground. Let's be in our bodies.
Right.
Firstly, let's be in our bodies. But when my students come to me, they're usually just wanting to record this song or get ready for this gig.
So the intention is not actually connected to...
It's not embodied.
It's not embodied. That's a good way to put it.
It's not embodied.
It's about some external goal.
Exactly. It's not... there's no why to it. Well, why? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that gig?
This is why we get along.
Yes. Why is that gig important in the first place? Do you know? Because what's hilarious, a lot of them be like, well, because it's a gig.
Right. It's just in and of itself,
what? Okay. Well, okay. Why are you singing? What do you think singing is fun? Even because a lot of my students have this relationship with singing, even though that's supposedly what they're here on earth to do,
right?
And what they're spending their time and energy and focus on. But they find it frustrating and they don't have a good relationship with it. As if, and I'm going to harken back to an amazing book that I love called Big Magic.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, I think
by Elizabeth Gilbert.
Thank you. I think Elizabeth Gilbert would possibly say, what do you think singing thinks about you?
Ooh.
Like what?
That's good.
Do you think singing hates you? The answer is no. Singing doesn't hate you. It's wishing that you didn't kind of act like you hated it as you're trying to be a singer. Isn't this just kind of interesting?
So interesting.
So I'm fascinated by this. So
I'm having like all this processing going on now.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like intention, for instance, when you step into a voice lesson, you know, obviously you're going to be with a teacher helping facilitate. And mind you, I know that some teachers are more like dictators. I'm not in any way, shape, or form. I mean, we are in it together. I ask you, what do you think? Because that helps get them going. Like, what do you want to accomplish today?
I have a joke with my clients because I do the same thing. Because I'm like, this is not about me telling you what to do. This is a co-creation.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I always joke, I'm like, does that feel good for you?
Yeah. Oh my God. Same.
I almost feel like I want to start being like, does that feel good for you, baby?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so same thing. I'll be like, how does that feel? Give me some feedback. You know what I mean? So I do help my students get into their bodies and start thinking more about their intention. But I'm telling you, I feel like a lot of the work that happens outside of the lessons with me, so I'm talking practice here, is so incredibly unintentional. So here's a perfect example. So you're getting ready, you know, to go record, or you're getting ready to, you know, go sing a set somewhere, go do a round, what have you. And there's a song that you just feel like you haven't nailed yet, okay? So what's super typical, and this friggin' cracks me up, and I absolutely was guilty of this as a young singer. I swear I was, so I get it. You sing the song over and over, like 20 times until you're hoarse, and like you... So, God, that's not great. You got a gig to do. You just blew your voice. But you sing it over and over the same time, every time, hoping magically it's going to get better.
Right.
With no set of intentional work. No breaking it down in the micro and being precise. First, okay, here's just a legitimate, just like precision thing. Know your notes and rhythms in every single measure. Get precise on what you're going to do. Practice it precisely before you move on. But also, what about connection? What am I trying to say here?
Yeah.
What are these lyrics? Do I even really know these lyrics? And what's hilarious is a lot of even singer-songwriters that wrote the damn song
don't know their own lyrics.
They really don't connect to them. They could give you a wash of an idea about what this song means, but when it comes to true connection, and then they're displaying that to the audience, like sharing it as like a storyteller, which is what we all are as singers, it's not there.
Can I just do something that's maybe going to piss some people off briefly? It's totally fine.
Sure.
But this is making me think of like Nashville is known for its writers' rounds.
Right.
I do not like watching writers' rounds. I think they're boring as...
Yeah, they can be. They can be.
But I think it's because of what you just said. Because every single fucking songwriter, love you, but legit, like... They think, oh my God, I'm going to be in a writer's round, and it's like so great, but like, oh my gosh, if I have to hear another freaking songwriter be like, I wrote this song about this breakup that I once went through, and like you said, it's this general wash, it's this vague, just kind of like, you can tell by the way that they share with the audience what kind of song they're about to sing, that they're not connected to it at all.
Right, it becomes a little bit of a dog and pony show, like, they say the cute little quips or whatever, and then sing their song. Yeah, but I think everyone wants to be more connected.
Of course.
If they sat around and intended it,
right.
If that was an intention to be more connected to your song, so you could be a better artist, so you could be a better storyteller, so then that song connects to the people out there who you hope to be your fans. So intention around like, what kind of artist do I want to be? Why am I even doing this? And what is my relationship with this whole singing thing in the first place? And do I even have intention when I go to practice? Or am I just singing it 20 times the same way and I have learned nothing except for maybe the art of frustration? Which I kind of already knew before I did that, because all artists are frustrated.
Right.
So it's like, wait, So when you go to practice, you have zero intention. You just fly on in there and you just start singing. Okay, intention looks like, where's the warm-up? Do a warm-up. Take care of your voice. Get in your body. Invite in the experience of singing as the athletic event that it is, as the full body event that it is, and as the soulful event that it is. And have intention. Okay, so there's that intention. I warmed up my body. I warmed up my voice. Feeling good. Feeling good. Okay, now I'm going to go practice this song. This bridge has been just like giving me the piss. It is. I cannot get it, right? It just is that I can't get that note. It's always flat or like whatever. Well, break that bridge down. Try it in little nuggets, little digestible nuggets, and approach it differently than you ever have before. I don't know. Have the intention to play.
Right.
Have the intention to discover. Have the intention of curiosity to be like, well, why isn't this working? And okay, well, how's my breath?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I'm literally forgetting to breathe right there.
Yeah.
I'm like so up in my adrenaline or whatever that I literally didn't just take a breath. Or I literally took such a breath that it was like, and I need to get a better breath. I need to get grounded. Or, the way I approach that vowel is really not working. It's making my throat tense. What if I open my mouth a little bit more? I don't know. Inviting in curiosity, but this all goes back to intention. Yeah. What do I want to do today when I sit down to practice? Well, I'd like to work on that bridge and feel like it's easier.
Yeah.
I would like for singing to be less effortful.
Easeful.
Okay. Yeah, more easeful. Okay, how can I invite that in? Okay, well, I'm going to maybe do a little guided meditation, and then I'm going to warm up my voice, and I'm going to approach it from that intention of it feeling more free, feeling more easeful.
Yeah.
So I just find that intention can be incredibly lacking with my students. So as you go to practice, so we just gave that example, but what about when you go to perform? What about if you bring in the intention of connecting to your song and then connecting with the audience? And what if you take in the intention of, wow, I'm a storyteller. I could literally move someone right now. This could be a total energetic contribution.
Yeah. And I love what you said though too, because you can't connect to the audience if you're not first connected to the song.
Right. That's going to be hard to do.
It's so important.
Yeah, it's a vehicle for you, right? Yeah. It's that vehicle of storytelling that hopefully someone can relate to. And you can have that heart moment. You can put your heart magic into that song and send it out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's probably so much more to say, but it comes down to not just willy-nilly singing your songs. Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And and can you even tell us really why you're a singer? Or why you're a singer-songwriter? Or why? Have you really thought that through? Because that helps you show up as more of you when you get really soulfully intentional about, why do I want this life? Yeah. Have I really asked that of myself?
Yeah.
And what do I have to contribute? And, honestly, you're going to realize it's a big growth opportunity, right? But only if you get out of your head, get into your body, and get into that idea of asking why.
Yeah.
Soulfully asking why. And, well, what's my intention here?
And I think it's also important to note too, because as I was listening to you talk about, here are some practices that you can do when you're practicing and performing, just to kind of make sure that you're constantly recalibrating yourself back to intention. And I think the thing that came to my mind was, wow, it's no wonder people need vocal coaches, because it's really hard to be the artist and your own coach simultaneously. It is incredibly difficult to be a business person and your own business consultant at the same time.
Right.
It's why we need each other. It's why I think most artists, speaking of intention, if they do sit down and ask why, and in my work, I've found that most artists are doing it because they want to genuinely connect with people. That's kind of the root, core desire of why they're creating music, why they're performing it in front of other people, why they're sharing their music with the world and putting it out online, is because they want to connect. And we can't effectively do that if we're not also supported by a community that is helping us to achieve the connection. You know what I mean?
I do.
So I think a lot of people often feel very in a vacuum, or like they're doing this singularly, and it's so important from a vocal coaching standpoint, from like a live performance coach, from, you know, anybody that's there to help you connect deeper into who it is that you are and why you're doing this is so, so important. And I'll share in the next episode a little bit more about why investing into yourself is it's another fundamental intention that shifts everything.
Right.
But that was kind of what I was thinking when I was listening to it. It was like, wow, there's no way you can start to become good at it.
Yes.
But especially if you're new and or just young, like if you're under maybe 35, I would say, there's still a significant amount of like self-conversation that you're learning to curate.
Absolutely.
I feel like. And
Absolutely.
so being able to ride both sides of that fence and be the artist and also know how to speak to yourself in a way that can recalibrate, it takes some time to develop that skill. And so that's why I think it's so important that people are supported by coaches and things like that, because it's just not something that we're naturally able to do for ourselves.
I mean, absolutely. And I will say, and this is not me trying to like, you know, get a bunch of students or whatever, but I'm absolutely amazed at how few singers have the intention to know their voices better.
Yeah.
To get to really understand how they function.
Yeah.
And how they function optimally, and how they can grow their range, grow their power, grow the healthful functioning of their voice, so they can create a voice that can be sustained healthfully through many performances and tours and things like that, if that's what supposedly they want to do.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely floored at how many people are out there singing, already making money singing, and have never had a voice lesson.
Wow.
This will continue to blow my mind until the day I die. It is just the weirdest thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm not putting anyone down, I just think that just like with anything, when you understand how something truly functions, and then you maybe get another set of eyes and ears on that can help guide you to more healthful functioning and more efficient singing, and how it all works, and maybe lovingly pointing out the bad habits that are literally, you know, in your body, and certainly in your mind, that are inhibiting you from being your fullest, most beautiful singer self. It just blows my mind. So talk about intention. That's an intention. Yeah. Like if you're a singer, it seems to me like having the intention to do a little bit, invest a little bit in that work, that self-discovery, the way your voice is made, the way your voice functions, the strengths and the weaknesses of your particular skill set, and then growing that skill set in a way that's clear and intentional and even joyful. I really am surprised that more people don't have that intention to at least just get a couple of voice lessons under the belt, so they can just kind of, I didn't even understand that that's how the breath worked for singing. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's the foundation of all singing, for instance. I really didn't think about how my posture would affect my singing. You know, things like that. It's like, so that kind of goes back to, why do you want to do this again? Are you clear? Are you super clear? And then if not, invite that in, and it will be a beautiful piece of self-discovery and self-growth for you as you go further into your singing, or even, I've seen this happen, as you decide it's not for you. Yeah. I mean, I certainly have seen that happen in some of my my college students. Or
that you can find fulfillment in it in a way that doesn't look like the way that you wanted it to. Because I think a lot of us that want to be singers, I know this is certainly true for myself, I thought it had to look like I was the artist that was touring and getting a record deal and doing all the things.
Right.
And like, I've released one song solo. I am so fucking happy with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm fulfilled in so many other areas of my life, and I have the time freedom to be able to still do the creative pieces. And so it's been really interesting, because I'm like, actually, it's not that I want to be on tour singing to like sold out rooms. It's that I want to be able to use my voice and my artistry and the things that light me up. And because singing is just something that is so enjoyable to me. But I just want to be able to create pieces that, function in a way that like I would not have had access to understanding that at like 18.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah,
So,
it doesn't matter what it looks like,
Yeah.
but there's more intention right there. Get clear on what it does look like for you. You know, for you, what does it look like?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope that this has been enjoyable. I just thought it was really cool when Lindsey was like, well, let's talk about intention and how that weaves into
Yeah.
our work with our students / clients.
Yep.
And I always have intention with every person who walks in my door. I set my intention, you know, before they even walk in, and then I ask them what their intention is, and then we co-create.
Yeah. That's cool.
Then we co-create.
That's really
And I
cool.
help them get clear, because a lot of times they maybe don't have an intention, so I'll keep asking questions.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what being in the question is.
Oh, yeah.
Such
Changes
a
everything.
big piece of magic.
Yes.
Big piece of medicine.
Huge.
So anyway, yes, intention in singing. Yeah, I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
For me. For my piece.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, intention in singing. Here we go.
Cheers.
Intention in everything.
We'll see you next time.